Born for Sports. We are 2 weeks into Giants training camp, and they're getting ready to get to the first preseason game, which is August 11th next Friday, against the Carolina Panthers. But I just want to talk about the position battles and that I feel are the most important right now, currently on this team. Now, slot cornerback and the secondary in general, but cornerback is a main focus for me because the slot cornerback in today's NFL is very important, more than it was like 15 years ago. It's very important. A lot of offenses run 3-4 wide receiver sets, so you got to have a solid slot cornerback in that slot to stop a lot of offenses, especially on those third downs. So I'm looking at this battle, right? Between Darnay Holmes and Cordell Flott. Obviously, Darnay Holmes is not a Shane draft pick. He's a Gettleman draft pick, and he's had his ups and downs since being a Giant, mostly downs. Not the hugest fan of him in this scheme. I feel like he's better suited for zone than one-on-ones. And probably better outside. He hasn't really been strong in the cornerback position for us in that slot over the years. And, I'm reading that he's been getting beat a lot during these camps. And, some of that is because I think the Giants have added to the wide receiver position, and they're doing pretty good in camp as well. But, Darnay Holmes is a guy who struggled a lot last year. And, Joe Shane drafted Cordell Flott to be a slot corner. And even though he didn't have a lot of plays that he made last year, because, cornerback is a tough position in the NFL for a rookie, man. It might be the toughest position in the NFL for a rookie to do well besides the quarterback, and, he had his struggles, came in on the light side, he was real thin frame, needs to bulk up, but man, I really think he has talent because down the stretch last season, he flashed more when he got more comfortable with what they were doing. They moved him around, they moved him outside for a little bit. They moved him in that slot. He made an underrated pass defense in that Minnesota wildcard playoff game, man. That third down to the I forgot what the wide receiver was, but he made a real good play on 3rd and 8. Cousins was trying to hit the receiver, and that led to the next play on 4th down when McKinney stopped Hawkinson. So, he flashed last year, and I really, really want him to win that spot. I think there's some talent out there. He bulked up a little bit according to what people are saying in camp, and what I've read, he hasn't been doing great either, but he's been doing better than Holmes, I think. And I think if it's a tie between these two players coming out of preseason, I think you got to give it to Flott, because I think his skill set is much better with what Wink wants to do. Wink wants to play one-on. He want to play one-on-one, man-to-man, challenge the receivers. He's not trying to. Holmes is not really good at that. Darnay, he's not that good. He's better in zone. I think Cordell Flott should be the starter, and I want him to win this job. Now, of course, coaching staff, as they should not just hand the guy the job. But I really want Cordell Flott to win that job, okay? Trey Hawkins, the 6th-round pick, is turning heads in camp. From everything I'm reading, he's been playing well. We'll see when he has to play better competition out there. That's not our guys going against each other, but he's been turning heads in training camp. And if he's going to be in the mix, maybe you move him around in there. Maybe you move O'Dory to the slot. I read about that maybe they might do some packages. Wink might scheme some stuff up and have, Hawkins outside the hashes with our 1st-round pick, Banks, and have Jackson in the slot. So there'll be some moving around and missing and matching. I think that's going to probably depend on matchup, not as starting. Dory's our outside corner. He's the starter. But Cordell Flott is a guy that I really want to win that job. Darnay Holmes, his spot is on the line, man. He's on the bubble to me in training camp. If you do the numbers, especially with the emergence of Hawkins, he's on the bubble. He's on the bubble. So he's going to have to make some plays and some splash plays to keep his job, or at least be on the roster. Now, the guard position, It's not on paper really strong like that. You see the star power because clearly our tackle situation is locked. We got Andrew Thomas, sign a big deal, one of the best left tackles in football on the left, and then we got Evan Neal on the right side, who he needs to take a jump and keep improving as years go by, being a seventh pick in the first round of the draft that year. So those spots are locked. So the guard positions I'm looking at, because I believe JMS, John Michael Smith, will be the starting center. They took him in the second round. He's been playing well from what I've read. He's doing well or whatever. He's a rookie. He's going to have his up and down, but, he's a second round pick for a reason. He has to be the starter, and he will be, in my opinion, come week 1. So I'm looking at the guard positions, Lewinsky and Bredesen and Azuda. From what I think and what I've read, I've already felt like this because of how, Dable like to rotate his offensive linemen during the season, during games a lot, which is kind of unorthodox in my opinion, even when he was doing it. But that's how you get these guys playing time in their opinion, and I trust his coaching staff. But he would rotate his offensive linemen a lot during games. And clearly Azuda was, before he got injured, was a part of that, and he flashed. He showed there was something there. He has to work on his pass protection. There's no doubt about it. He's got to work on his pass protection. That was the main struggle for him last year, but he was an excellent run blocker. And he was pretty good in that. So I think the Giants want him to win one of these jobs, whether it's the right guard or the left guard position. They want him to win it. However, you have Lewinsky, who's a veteran, who wasn't that great last year, but he was steady, and you got Ben Bredesen. Ben Bredesen, clearly from what I've read, is being cross-trained for both guard spots and the center position, And to me, he's probably, at the moment, our best guard right now. Even though Azuda has some talent, I think right now, Ben Bredesen is probably their most impressive guard they have. And I'm not saying Ben Bredesen's great, but hey, he has been solid out of all three of these guys, okay? And, not every offensive line position is going to have a great starter there. It's not going to always be an all-star in every position. They're all pro or a Pro Bowler there. So you have to have guys that know the assignment and do the job. And to me, Ben Bredesen is that guy. They have to find him to be a starter on one of those positions on the guard spot. Now, is that going to be in the expense of a veteran, Lewinsky, who's, he got a contract last season before the season and is going to be here? Or is it going to be Ben Bredesen wins the job at left guard spot over Azuda? Either way, I feel like it's going to go to the starting guards are going to be Ben Bredesen at left guard and Lewinsky will start at right guard. I just think, the Giants are not going to mess around there. They'll rotate Azuda during the games and get him some run in there. But I think for the most part, those two guys, Ben Bredesen and Lewinsky, are going to be the starting guards. And I think that's probably the best way to go about it. If Azuda hasn't taken a step in his pass protection, we need him to take a step there. Once he does get that, I believe he will be a starter. It'll be probably in the expense of Lewinsky or Ben Bredesen, but right now it doesn't look like we're there yet. So I believe Ben Bredesen and Lewinsky should be the starters there. We're a running team. We need veterans up front that know how to hit the hole and know the assignments and the schemes, and also give Daniel Jones protection, who you trust the most. And if Azudu isn't there at pass protection, you can't put him out there. So those are my two main position battles that I'm looking at here, and I want to see. I want to see Slot in the. I want to be Flott in the slot. Goes well together. Flott in the slot. I want to be able to say that hashtag and chant that at MetLife this year. And I need to see Ben Bredesen get one of these guard spots. All right, so that's it. I hope everything goes well. I'll be on vacation in a few days. So I hope that when I get back, the Giants don't have major injuries. From our lips to God's ears. Born for sports.